meeting for the MPO Policy Board for December 10th, 2020. And
this conference will now be recorded.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got started maybe just a hair soon there. I'll start over. We'll go ahead and call the MPO Policy Board meeting to order for today, December the 10th, 2020 at 2:00 p.m. So as you heard, the first item on the agenda is going to be a roll call of who is here for this meeting. So Mayor Rosworski, I am here. I believe Mayor Dennis and Kevin Underwood are not. Tracy Brown?
Here.
Thank you. Jackson Bogan? Oh, there he is. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm here too, Tom.
Ron Campbell?
Here.
Okay, there's Mayor Dennis. We'll put Mayor Dennis down as attendance. Peter Bunder?
Here.
Thank you. Cindy Murray?
Here.
Thank you. Mike Gibson?
Present.
And Shane Spears?
I am present as well.
Okay, and I see Kevin Underwood just joined, so we will mark down Kevin Underwood as present.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so the roll call is complete for the attendance. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the November 12th, 2020 meeting. The document was communicated to you in your packets. I would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
I move that those minutes be approved as communicated.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Campbell, a second from Mr. Gibson. All right, we conduct that. Sally, I need to do a roll call on everything, really, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so we'll do a roll call vote on the approval of the minutes. Mayor Dennis.
Aye.
Kevin Underwood.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Jackson Bogan.
Aye.
Ron Campbell.
Aye.
Peter Bunder.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Mike Gibson.
Aye.
Shane Spears.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda, we have the APC progress report, and under that we have the MPO update and several items under section A there.
And we'll start with Tim.
Okay,
Okay,
Tim?
so, yep, I'm going to actually cover kind of the first two items at the same time, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan survey update, as well as the Citizens Participation Committee update, because they're really pretty tied together. So this survey that we sent out is the second survey that we've done as part of our public participation process for our 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. The first survey that we took, that we shared the results with you previously, was regarding some of the goals for the survey. And this second survey that we just took seeks to set some objectives, which are basically just ways that we can work to accomplish those goals. And so in the packet that was distributed, there are several different categories of goals and objectives that you will see that we have sorted into different tables. I'm not going to necessarily go through them all. I'm kind of just going to try to hit a few of the highlights. So we'll go ahead and start with enhancing transportation options and accessibility for all users. And what I wanted to point out here is that the top two goals, or excuse me, the top two objectives for this goal were to add sidewalk ramps where they're missing to make sidewalks accessible for all users, and to repair and maintain sidewalks to eliminate trip hazards. And the thing that I think is significant about this is that it really shows that there's desire to have good physical infrastructure. You know, those top two objectives are both related to the condition and the usability of the infrastructure, which I think really shows that there's a strong emphasis from that, just from the community, from the respondents for the survey. And that theme is kind of continued if you go down to the next goal, which is to improve, expand, and connect sidewalk trails and bike lanes. So the top two in that are talking about constructing sidewalks to allow for longer trips and to connect existing trails to each other. So that's telling us that in addition to having the physical infrastructure, it's important that it connects so that people can have a safe pathway throughout their whole trip. So moving down a little bit onto the next page for transit service. So most of the highest scoring objectives in that category were all about the different things we can do to improve bus service. So that's something that certainly we're working with City Bus on. But the interesting one on that one, I think, is actually the last one about passenger rail service to major cities. And what I think is really interesting about that is that although it is the lowest scoring on this, there were a lot of people that listed it as either the most important objective to them or the least important objective to them. So there wasn't much in between. And I think what that shows us is that there is definitely a group of people that would use that kind of service if it was available. So just something interesting to note there. And then kind of the last thing I want to mention is a couple of other goals. So improving the transportation network to promote climate sustainability, improving storm drainage and planting more street trees and other non-invasive vegetation. We're very, very close together. And if we go actually up just a little bit to one of the previous ones that I'd skipped over, improving infrastructure resilience, we see again that installing green infrastructure scored fairly well there. So I think what that indicates is that there's really a desire from the community to make sure that we have facilities that are sustainable, that are environmentally friendly, that we can use for many, many years to come, and make sure that we're taking care of what we have. So that's what I have for that. I'll stop and take any questions we have at this time. Okay, well, I'm not hearing any questions, so I'm going to kind of move on to the next part, which is what we talked about at our Citizens Participation Committee meeting last night. So last night at that meeting, we went over the same survey, and they were in agreement with the results of the survey. They thought that these were good goals to move forward and adopt. So what we're going to do is at some point in the future, we're going to formally work to adopt these and then integrate them into the plan as formally adopted goals and objectives. So we'll be looking out for that in the next couple of months. And so that is the update from the CPC last night. So that should conclude what I have to share about that.
Tim, everybody else probably knows this maybe, but I've forgotten. The number, the actual score, what is that score? Obviously, we've had a certain number of participants, some ranked, some high, low. What does that score, 849, 779, is that how many people chose that at that particular level? Or what is that score exactly?
Yes, that's a very good question. So the way that the scoring was done is we asked each participant to rank each different objective from 1 to 5. And the higher they ranked an objective, the more points it scored. So if you gave it a ranking of 1, that would score 5 points. A ranking of 2 would score 4, so on and so on. And so then when you add all those numbers together, that's how you get the scores in the score column.
Okay, so how many people actually participated in the survey?
Yes, we had 223 respondents for this survey.
That was for the second survey. We had over 500 in the first goal setting survey, and then in this objective prioritization was the 225, 250,
223.
223 who scored the objectives.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Any questions for Tim on those two items? All right, thank you, Tim. We'll move on then to the 2022 tip update. And Doug, will you be handling that?
Yes, I sure will. Thanks for the opportunity to allow me to give the committee an update of where we stand. We're still at the very early stages of the development of the document. December 4th, last Friday, was the date we asked all of the engineers and agencies to submit their projects to us. And we successfully received all of them. This past Monday and Tuesday, I put all of those into one table, and that table actually has been posted on our transportation website. We also have put together a table for NDOT projects, and you can find that project table just right underneath it as well. Last night at the Citizen Participation Committee, we began our public participation kickoff by presenting the committee, giving them first background information of what is the TIP and how it relates to transportation planning, the schedule that we put together for the development of the document, and then also reviewed the local and state project list. A lot of good comments. I'll be putting those together, and then there's a few of them that I will be forwarding to the engineers.
Okay.
The next milestone is next week, where we'll be continuing our public notice procedures. We will be sending a mass letter mailing out, and we will also be posting notices around the community, and then also posting notices on Facebook and Nextdoor. So hopefully between all of these notices and letters, we'll have a good outreach and let the community know that we are developing this document. After that, in about 1 month, the next Technical Transportation Committee meeting on the 20th in January, we will be then reviewing all of the requests from the local government agencies and allocating our federal transportation funds. For our STBG funds, we receive a little over $4 million. For our safety funds, $700,000, a little over $700,000. And then for transportation alternative funds, that's a little over $214,000. And again, that's just annual. And then as like previous years, NDOT wants us to obligate all of our funds each fiscal year. So that's one of the big critical dates. Then approximately 1 month, we have to get the draft document complete. NDOT still has our deadline, or all the MPO deadlines, to submit the draft document to them by February 15th. I feel fairly confident we will be doing that. The process is underway and going very well and very smooth so far. And normally in the past, we're usually either the first or second MPO in the state to actually submit it. So I think we're going to easily accomplish that. And then looking a little after that, we plan to bring the completed document for your adoption or review and adoption at the May meeting. So that kind of in a nutshell is the status, and then looking forward to what will be occurring. Are there any questions that I could answer?
All right, looks like we don't have any questions. Doug, are you going to be handling the 18-month letting lists also?
Yes, it'd be my pleasure to do that. Again, it's a fairly extensive list, 3 pages. The projects 1 through 6, if you look at those, project 1 is in one contract, while the remaining 5 projects are in a separate contract. The information is actually in the very last page, but I'll just kind of briefly get over that so we don't have to scroll down there. The first contract was let for construction at a little over $1.14 million. The estimated completion date is October 2nd of 2021. There was 5 bids submitted. And then for the bridge painting projects on I-65, projects 2 through 6, The award amount was $2.37 million. There were 6 bidders, and the estimated completion date is November 13th of 2021. This month, actually yesterday, I did not see any specific information, but I do have a little bit of information to share. Project 7, 8, 9, and 10, all on 65, are on one contract. There were 5 bidders, and it looks like there was a low bid. They were all pretty much under the engineer's estimate, and it was $5.9 million. And it looks like the low bidder was Superior Construction. Projects 11 through 16 on various routes, 4 bids submitted. The lowest bid was almost or just under $1 million, with the engineer's estimate $1.56 million. And then next month, we'll be able to give you all the specific information for that. At the bottom of the page, in January, thinking of that the new year already, we have actually 5 major projects coming up. If you see 3 of those are local projects, one being on Lindbergh Road, one on North River Road, and then of course Park East Boulevard. The other 2 projects, State Road 28, this section is between 231 and 52. Major work be done in that section. And then 26 at the interchange at I-65 and then to the east, concrete pavement preservation project. So looks like we'll have a little bit of detour or work around there, may slow traffic down for a little bit. Going on to the next page, in February, we have 7 projects that are on the letting list, and they're all thin deck overlays, all on State Road 25, the Hoosier Heartland. We have only 1 project on the list or on deck in March. And then rounding out this state fiscal year, 3 projects scheduled for an April letting. Just kind of highlighting a couple of the big ones later on. July of next year, US 52 auxiliary lanes, decel and accel or turn lanes, 400 South, Tippecanoe County to 700 South in Clinton County. And then on State Road 38, Project 41, while it listed here as a minor structural overlay, we are starting the tip amendment process to make that a full depth reclamation project. So see a lot of work when that goes under. And then just mention the project just under that, Project 42, Sagamore Parkway Trail. Excited to see that one continue to be on the list. Any other questions?
That's an extensive amount. Anybody have any questions? That was quite a bit to take in there. There's quite a projects happening here. Okay, well, thank you, Doug, for that update. It was very informative.
Great, thank you for having the opportunity to do that.
All right. With that, we are going to move on in the agenda to the adoption of the statewide 2021 safety performance measures and targets. So who will be handling that?
If it's all right with you, could we go back and take care of the update on the quarterly progress report right before that?
I'm sorry, Sally, go back and do what?
Item 3 on the agenda, which is give you the update on the quarterly progress report.
Okay, well, in my number 3 is the adoption of the statewide. I don't know if I've got it wrong. And then number 4 is quarterly reports. So I must be out of.
No, I think you're probably looking at the new agenda and I'm looking at the old one. So yes, we can do it that way.
Okay, so on my agenda here, I have the adoption as number 3, the adoption of the statewide 2021 safety performance measures and targets.
Okay, it's my fault because I was looking at the old agenda. So I'm going to go back before we get to the 21 targets first. if you recall, the Federal FAST Act, FAST, which is our federal legislation for transportation, required states and MPOs to use and create, well, not create, but the feds created the performance measures, and then states and MPOs have to set targets to meet those performance measures. One of those performance measures is safety. And if you recall, we set targets based on INDOT's proposal every year about this time. So the 5 targets that the state has to set every year are number of fatalities, rate of fatalities, the number of serious injury crashes, or the number of serious injuries within those crashes, the rate of serious injuries, and then the number of non-motorized fatalities plus serious injuries. So the state has set targets every year, and then MPOs have 2 options. MPOs can either set their own targets, or MPOs can agree to support the state's targets. It is much simpler for MPOs to support the state targets, and all MPOs in Indiana have been doing that. So safety targets, we've brought you those every year for your concurrence in our MPO support of those state targets for safety. Now, what the state had to do, if you could go back, Tim, to that letter. So what the state has to do is they have to show that they have met 4 of the 5 targets every year. So this is the very first time that that analysis has been done by the Federal Highway Administration. So this letter is from Federal Highway saying that Indiana did meet its 4 of its 5 2018 targets. So I'm giving you this history because it's the first time we've had a letter of determination from Federal Highway about safety targets. So this goes back to the very first year that we did this. So you'll see in this letter, the left-hand column are the targets that the state set that we supported. The next column to the right is what actually happened. And then there is that column that says, was that target met or not? So as you can see, it was a bad year for fatalities, and Indiana did not meet its target or below for fatalities. So there actually were 833 fatalities that year, and our target, the state's target was just under 815 fatalities. So we didn't do so well there, but we did meet all the other targets for that. So that means that the state has performed in a manner that it said it would, and no further action from Federal Highway is required. And what that would mean is the state would have to devote more of its money to safety projects if they don't meet at least 4 of the 5 targets. So now that we're in this analysis timeline, in April or May, we should find out whether the state met its 2019 targets or not. What we're actually doing today is setting and agreeing to the targets that the state is setting for the year 2021. So that is the letter that's in the packet. And you'll see there that the state's target for fatalities is 817.3 or fewer. The rate of fatalities per 100 million miles traveled is 1.006 or less. The number of serious injuries at 3,311.4 or fewer. The rate of serious injuries per 100 million miles traveled, 4.088. and the number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries at 393.6 or fewer. Those numbers are higher than some of the early year numbers, but they are better than the 2020 numbers, and I can read those off if you're interested. So in 2020, the number of fatalities as a target was 907.7. We think that can be lowered to 817.3, the state does. Last year, the rate of fatalities was 1.097, so you can see that dropped. The number of serious injuries dropped from 2020, or the target dropped from 2020 of 3,467.4 to 3,311.4, and the rate of serious injuries dropped from 4.178 to 4.088, and the number of this is essentially pedestrian and bicycle fatalities and serious injuries from 405.9 to 393.6. Now, the biggest criteria based on data and projections seems to be the economy. So when the economy is down and more people are working from home, the fewer drivers are on roads. And that's probably the biggest criteria for being able to drop these targets from 2020. So we'll see how that analysis pans out when we get 2 more years down the road and Federal Highway has done its analysis. But for now, I would like you to vote to authorize me to sign the letter supporting the state's safety targets for the year 2021.
All right. Any questions from Sally there on her explanation? All right.
One quick question, Sally. These are average numbers over 5 years. Is that right?
That's correct. It's a rolling average.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jackson. Anybody else have any questions? All right, I would entertain a motion that the Policy Board of Lafayette MPO supports the state's performance measures and targets for safety year 2021 and authorizes the Executive Director to sign the letter expressing that support.
So, Murray.
Thank you, Cindy. Second.
Second, John.
Thank you, John. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All right, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Mayor Dennis,
Aye.
Kevin Underwood,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Jackson Bogan,
Aye.
Ron Campbell,
I think he's muted.
I see him say an aye.
Saying aye.
Peter Bunder,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Mike Gibson,
Aye.
Shane Spears. I see Shane's flashing there. All right. We'll take that as a,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you, everybody. The motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the quarterly reports, the quarterly project tracking summary.
Yes, so this is just kind of a summary of what we discussed at last month's technical committee meeting. And I think the first thing that I like to say is that overall, everything is progressing very, very well. So we're very pleased with how things are going. And it seems like our local government engineers have worked really hard to make sure things are still on track, even in spite of all the interesting circumstances that have happened in 2020. So just to kind of hit a few of the highlights. So for Tippecanoe County, construction on Klondike Road is almost done. It might be substantially complete by the end of the year. and full completion is anticipated in 2021 at the latest. So very good news on that. For Lindbergh Road, we're going to have some additional federal funding required to work with the railroad, but an agreement is already in place with KBNS, and APC will work to process any required FEMA requests as needed for that work. Concord Road at County Road 430 South, that project has been officially closed out. The Morehouse Road project might have a change in its letting date, so that's something that we will continue to keep an eye on. So we'll see where that goes. So for Yeager Road, although there are some design changes, the anticipated letting date for that is not likely to change at this time. So that project is still on schedule. So that's very good. And finally, the right-of-way clear for the McCutcheon pedestrian safety project has been delayed, but we think we can still hit the anticipated letting date for that. So we're very glad about that, that project still seems to be on schedule in spite of some delays there. So that's what I wanted to highlight for the county. For Lafayette, the Twickenham Boulevard project is substantially complete. So we should be seeing that officially closed out within a few reports, hopefully, once it gets through the process. Concord Road, the trail lighting project won't actually wrap up until mid-January due to a delay in the delivery of some construction materials. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but it's not too much of a delay. It's just a small delay in the grand scheme of things. And other than that, things have been going very well with that project. So we anticipate that once we do get to mid-January, that will be finalized, and then we'll see that wrapped up soon. For West Lafayette, they have been able to close out the Happy Hollow Neighborhood Trail project. So that is officially closed out and done with. So good to see that. As far as the Sagamore Parkway Trail project, so completion of the environmental report for that project has been delayed, but hopefully that shouldn't impact too many of the rest of the project milestones. So that project is still mostly on schedule. For the town of Dayton, the Yost Drive project was stopped. Dayton has issued a check to NDOT to reimburse them for all the invoiced federal funds. So that whole process is kind of wrapping up, and it looks like that project should be off the books as far as we at APC are concerned pretty soon. Are there any questions about any of these projects?
Great. All right. Thank you, Tim, for that quarterly report. It's very helpful. The next item on the agenda is other business. It looks like we need to reschedule the Thursday, November 11th, 2021 meeting. Somebody out there.
Okay, so I was putting together the agendas or the dates for next year, and I saw that this was a county holiday. I think Memorial Day was on November 11th of 2021.
It's Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, similar but different. So would everyone be able to make time in their schedule for perhaps the following Thursday, the third Thursday instead of the second Thursday?
I'm sure probably can. Do you want to just send out a calendar invite and see how it lines up for everybody?
That's a good idea.
We'll do that.
My
Just letting you know.
guess is we'll be able to get a quorum. Everybody will be able to respond, and we'll be able to get a quorum, I would think.
Is that Thanksgiving Day?
No, Thanksgiving should be the next week, I think, maybe.
It's just coming up on my calendar is Thanksgiving, so.
Oh, is it? Okay, well,
Really?
It's,
Thanksgiving's
you
the
know,
fourth
it's technology, Mayor. It could be wrong. It just comes up Thanksgiving when I look.
It's early. That seems early. The 18th, that seems a little early, but maybe it is.
Every day.
Thanksgiving is always the fourth Thursday.
2021 at 25th.
Yeah, the third Thursday should be fine for.
Oh, third Thursday. I'm
Thanksgiving.
sorry. Yes.
Mike, you think about eating that turkey.
Yeah, well, I'm down a few pounds. I've been on my diet, so I'm.
All right, brother. That's good. I wish I was. All right, well, let's send out a calendar invite to everybody. My guess is we'll be able to put a quorum together for that that date. We'd appreciate everybody having some flexibility so we can get that meeting scheduled.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is citizen comments. Sally, have you received any citizen comments?
We'll be checking the YouTube and Facebook sites here in just a second.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and give it a minute or so in case somebody wants to send something in.
Well, it's been almost a minute and nothing has come in.
All right, thank you. We'll take that as there are no citizen comments recorded for today. You'll notice on your agenda, the next meeting is January 14th of 2021. So hopefully everybody does have that on their schedule. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Everybody wants to stay? I don't have a second.
I gave a second.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Gibson. Yep.
All right, we'll have a roll call vote. Mayor Dennis,
Aye.
Kevin Underwood,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Jackson Bogan,
Aye.
Ron Campbell. I can see the aye. Peter Bunder,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Mike Gibson,
Aye.
Shane Spears.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone. We're adjourned. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Ciao.
Yes.